G'day there, it's Dave here, Dave Mills with another wonderful video, and I let you know in the last part, part 3, what we're going to be talking about in part 4 of the Scotch Gambit, an absolutely deadly killer, smart weapon. Alright, this is your weapon system against e4, e5. So now after bishop c4, we have what I call the weak line, pawn to d6. Now it closes off the bishop, but it does free up the light square bishop. Let's have a look to see if that's beneficial. Instead of, because this move is quite closing in, quite passive, we're going to go to like a Scotch game theme here. So we're going to lop off this pawn, and it's a different type of collision now. This battery is where the queen is like, it's an elastic collision, because now like the knight can ping off, discovering the queen. So either way, this is the second way for white to increase the momentum of the queen. All right, so knight takes d4, and black just develops. Very sensible, very sensible idea. This pawn is loose. Yeah, very sensible, very solid appearing. So white develops a piece and actually guards the precious e pawn, and so knight c3, bishop e7. Black's actually traded in mobility for the bishop for having like a relatively solid position. All right, and then castle, quite solid, quite a solid plan. And now we're going to go back and we're going to have a look at a different response. We're going to actually, instead of knight c3, we go back and we're going to have a look at knight takes c6. So hang on to your horses there. And so now after castles, knight takes c6. All right, b takes c6. You do have double pawns here, not so easy to punish. It removes entry squares, and there is the half open b file for black, so black's not totally feeling bad. So now after bishop f4, very solid move. White's plan is very simple: centralize, move the rook to e1, move the queen to d2. Move the rook on the a file to d1. So centralize all the heavies down the center, and it's as simple as that. And a lot of these pieces, it allows white to play in the center and to point everything at the king and use open center principles. And so very solid game here. So that's the idea of white plays knight to c3. But what happens if in this position you lop off the knight? Okay, it's a bit different, isn't it? You've got this loose pawn to target here, and so this move here is much more active, much more rigorous. Queen pins it to the king. All right, very logical move. And we can see here white is looking for to get as much impulse as possible. Get the king out of the center. This is a misalignment here. So then after d takes e, all right, look at that activity down the d file, very nice. The knight comes to c3, followed by bishop to g5, lovely pin, and also rook to e1. It plays itself, centralizing the forces. This is looking really, these targets here on just looking really, the queen side is just totally shattered here, and these pawns are worth targeting. And so instead of queen to e7 after e5, we're going to have a look at this move here now. What do you think is going to happen if you trot out that? Well, what would you do here? Would you just capture the queen, or would you capture at f7? Right, you capture at f7. The king recaptures, and the queen, yoink, captures at d8. Very lovely. Bishop to b4, check.
Check.
Alright, now you don't move the trusty c pawn. You develop your piece and guard the king. And this is why you weren't worried about it, because you were able to, because remember there's that battery there, you know, discovering the check. Oh, so I misclicked there. Capture, and then bishop takes b4. So this position is, I actually think it's pretty crushing. This pawn structure is just ruined, and opposite color bishop's right at the end. Can be a bit drawish, but yeah, it's the one with the attack has the advantage. I definitely think the one with the better pawn structure has the advantage. So instead of bishop to d2, back here, instead of blocking with the bishop, we could have actually, because you know, you've discovered the attack here. The queen's gonna fall, so blocking with the queen can be a bit of a Jedi move. And,
check.
right. Bishop takes d2, of course, and then knight takes d2. It's obviously this knight is looking to get in front of these double pawns on c4, and it's another strong way to respond to bishop b4, discovering the rook. So there you have it. That's my discussion on the d6 weak line. Hope you had lots of fun. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye!